Catch us live on DSTV because we are also free to air. Now, my name is Carlos Caloni. Now, Ghanaian driver shot and a number of trucks burned by suspected terrorists on the Burkina border with Ghana. We have details. Now, from our election headquarters today, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia optimistic of securing overwhelming votes in return for his loyalty, dedication and sacrifices for the NPP. More in our build-up to the party's Super Delegate Congress. Later on Climate Focus, we get close to the newly elected Vice Chair of the UN Governmental Panel on Climate Change to understand what she brings to the table with a new role as regards influencing change in Ghana's climate issues. We have details of these and more, including business, news updates, sports, world news, and showbiz in this edition. Don't go away. Thank you so much for joining us here. Now, a number of trucks carting foodstuff from Niger to Ghana have been burned at Burkina Faso border by suspected terrorists. Now, driver of the lead vehicle is responding to treatment after being shot in the attack. Before now, several drivers have died in similar attacks with over 10 Ghanaian trucks being burned. Nanaya Ojima of our foreign desk has more in the following report.
The Doli route into Burkina Faso from Niger has been abandoned by long-distance trucks following heightened activities of terrorists in the area. Videos available to JoyNews show many trucks burnt at the border by terrorists earlier this year.
In Burkina, at first we was passing there, and there was a Boko Haram over there. They burned our cars, so many, about 15 cars with onions, and we diverted to Benin.
Niger supplies Ghana with onions, beans, potash, cowhide, and local tea, popularly known as attire. Following the closure of the Benin border as a result of the ECOWAS sanctions against Niger, some drivers have had to consider other options. The Dambala enterprise owns 35 trucks, which have often been involved in carting food from Niger. For many days, some of the trucks have locked up in Niger. According to Massaoudou Dambala, one of their vehicles opted for the Doli route, which is less preferred due to security concerns. The trucks broke security protocols after their inability to secure military escort to cross the border for many days.
They were standing there waiting for combine escort, yeah. So they were waiting for it, and then the escort is not coming. So one of the cars, that one is not our car, decided to follow the road. So when he succeeded, so the rest they say, okay, they too will try their best and see. So immediately they start going there. Those jihadist people come out, try to stop them, they refused, not knowing that there are plenty people there. So they decided to start to shoot them. So they stopped, some of them stopped, and some of them go back. And then even some drivers leave the cars and run away. So our car is in front. So when they reach there, they bend the car. The car take like 450 bags of beans. So they bend the car. And then the case is they shoot the driver. But now the driver is alive. So they burn the car, and then they burn like 3 or 4 cars. So the rest turn back and go to Niger.
So where's the driver now, and what's his condition?
Yeah, he's in Niger, but the condition is somehow better. So he's in Niger now.
One of the 3 affected trucks was carting onions bound for the Kwadaso market in Kumasi. All 330 onions in the affected trucks have rotten away after the vehicle was burnt. Massaoudou Mazu counts his loss. The leading truck was transporting beans, and the next one was transporting my onions. Those were the first to be attacked. They called me later to break the news to me. I couldn't ask them any further questions. Presently, the transport and import company, Dambala Enterprise, has closed operations to Niger. 15 of their trucks are locked up in the landlocked Niger. Masaudu Dambala is worried about the situation.
If you go to harbor, anything concerning Niger, you cannot take it. So it's only Burkina that you can cross. I can tell you that this is the amount that I'm losing. I can't tell. But if I tell you that this is this, I will lose this. No, I can't tell. The only thing is that I see that the business is rounding down.
Many food importers in Kumasi stand the chance of losing their investments if the situation continues. For JoyNews, Nana Ojima reporting.
Now moving on, farmlands and livelihoods are at risk in the Upper East region as ripple effects from the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso begin to have a toll in the area. Sanobel, the dam's operators, alerted Ghanaian authorities about the spillage a week ago. Despite not being the usual annual spillage period, the overflow from tributaries to the Bagre Dam has already damaged farmlands along the Bawku West and Talensi district. Jerry Asamane is the Upper East Regional National Disaster Management Authority coordinator. He joins us via phone. Hi, Jerry. I want to find out from you, what is the current situation after the spillage of the dam?
About the current situation, as you have always known that when the dam is at its max, the spillage has to begin. But fortunately, like you rightly stated, the spillage has come at a point where it's not at its usual time. We are always expecting this to happen around September, but unfortunately, they have done it earlier. And the simple reason is that the upstream of the dam, that is, they are expecting so much rain to come. So because of the high anticipation of heavy rainfall, they think that the quantity of water that is already there is almost about 246.8 as of yesterday. It was around 2.7, which is almost getting to the 250 that more often they spill. So they decided to do what they call management spillage. That's just to let the water out to be able to prepare for the extra water they are anticipating. That is what they call the management spillage. And it is just one valve that has been opened. The usual opening spillage that always happens is always around 3-4 valves open. That is gates, literally open. But as it is now, the opening, we started on the 18th. The 18th, by 1920, we were experiencing some high volumes of water along the White Volta. It has caused flooding of farmlands along the Bawku West district. That is from Galaka, that is in the Sapelga in the Bawku West district, that is Zebila, and then the Kobore side, that is the Bindore side, and then the Talgu, that is the Talensi district. The crops are being affected, and we are in partnership. As it is now, we cannot get on the ground to determine the acreage of lands that has been affected. More often, we do this through the experts. That is the agric sector, that is the MOFA or the Ministry of Agric. They have ways of determining the acreage that has been affected.
All right.
Right now, the waters even on the farms are so high that agric officers, even the farmers, cannot get into. And the danger is that at this time, reptiles are disturbed at their various habitats. So it's even dangerous getting farmers or even agri officers to go on the ground and determine that. But the crops are being affected.
All right. So, beyond what you are just telling us, what is your outfit doing to protect farmlands and livelihood? The fact that it is difficult for these people to even get to the farms and all that.
In fact, there's nothing to do to protect farmlands. The only prayer is what is happening. As at this morning, the readings on the various gauges in the two crossings, that is at the Kobore Bridge and the Falgu Bridge, the levels of rise in the water has reduced about almost 28 centimeters, and that is really, if you get to the distance, you will see that the water is receding. It means the volume of water that is let out from the dam has gradually been reduced. And we are hoping that by the end of the weekend, they will either shut the valve or listen. But for now, the farmers are all at the mercy of the dam.
All right.
And the crops along those riverbanks, the riverbank has already been destroyed. So
all right.
It is the agri sector that would come and determine, and probably the economic effects of all these things would come later.
Thank you so much.
NADMO, as it is now, is only giving the sensitizations, giving the advices, getting to the chiefs and the people of the communities, advising them not to get to the closer to the river, because one, the banks are all saturated. Farmers who might be risking to get closer to the banks, or even shepherds, that is the small kids that follow distance, their lives could be endangered by the collapse of the banks, and that can send them into the river. So
all right, thank
now,
you. Thank you, Jerry. We are so grateful for your time. Now, moving on, as the discussions with the police come to a close, the stage is now set for the minorities' planned protest against the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Now, the purpose of this protest is to express their disapproval against an alleged illegal printing of about 80 billion Ghana cedis between 2021 and 2022 by the BOG for the Akufo-Addo government, which they say has led to a high inflation rate of 54.1% in December 2022. Now, according to the minority, this singular act of the BOG has negatively impacted livelihoods and businesses and pushed about 850,000 Ghanaians into poverty in the year 2022 alone. Now, addressing the media after a meeting held with the police, Deputy Minority Leader Kofi Amabua said the final details and arrangement for the protest have been concluded.
Intention to protest, to express our revulsion on the illegal printing of money at the Bank of Ghana and the malfeasance that has been reported in the 2021 and 2022 financial report of Bank of Ghana. Acts that has resulted in impoverishing close to 1 million Ghanaians. As law-abiding citizens, we wrote to the police service to inform them about our intention to protest on the 5th of September. We provided them a detailed route of the path that we will go through during that protest. We were invited by the Ghana Police Service this morning at 10 a.m. I'm happy to inform you that we're here on time. Came with my colleagues, members of parliament. We were joined by civil society organizations, Arise Ghana, and our comrade Bernard Mona. We were received warmly by the police service. We engaged in very constructive discussions on the planned protest. I am very happy to inform you that the engagement was very cordial. The police service made some proposals to us, and we also insisted on our proposals in terms of the route we have. We concluded the meeting that we will go through the route that we have proposed. And so everything is set for our protest, which will be joined by thousands of Ghanaians to express our revulsion at the ugly and corrupt activities that has impoverished the people of Ghana. And this will happen on the 5th of September.
Now, the Ghana Railways Workers Union is this afternoon up in arms against the management of the company for its current sorry state. Now, according to the association, there is a huge debt hanging around the neck of the company, resulting in the non-payment of SNIT contributions of workers and other statutory payment of staff. These were revealed by the Secretary of the Union, Godwin Tama, at a media engagement in Takrady.
Salaries go into 3 or 4 month arrears before some efforts are made to effect some payment. Again, SNIT payments are in arrears from October 2022 till date, which has compelled SNIT to take GRCL to court to enforce payment. The company is owing GCB Bank millions of cedis, while workers' Tier 2 payments have also not been settled since May 2022 till date. The limited liability company, to me, is useless because you can't have a limited liability company without shareholders. I don't know if maybe I didn't go to school, so I don't know. But I have never heard of any limited liability company without shareholders. Ghana Railway Corporation moving to a limited liability was just a gimmick, I'm telling you. You see, we have sat down over the years and allowed politicians to play with the railway sector. And this is one of the results that we are seeing.
Now, Mr. Ntama lamented the frantic efforts by the leadership of the union to engage with President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on the current situation of our province.
It will interest you to note that frantic efforts have been made by the leadership of the union to have engagement with the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to have interactions on the current situation facing GRCL, but all have proven future.
Now, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says the Phase 2 of the Tamale International Airport, which has been commissioned with more auxiliary facilities, cost $70 million. This, according to whom, is far cheaper than the $130 million spent on Phase 1. Now, the Vice President made this comparison at the commissioning of the Tamale International Airport in the northern regional capital.
The Phase 2 of the Tamale International Airport is built with the state-of-the-art facilities, including terminal buildings with other ancillary facilities to complement the newly constructed runway for international aircraft operations. A project funded by the UK Export Finance and KfW PEX Bank of Germany at a cost of $70 million is expected to open the area to the rest of the world. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, commended the contractors and consultants using relatively limited resources to achieve big results.
Phase 2 of this project, which we are commissioning today, is consistent of a construction of an ultra-modern terminal building with 400,000 annual passenger capacity for both domestic and international operations, which is equipped with state-of-the-art airport systems. The terminal comes with a 330 capacity car park. Also, part of this project is a 5-kilometer asphalt access road off the Tamale-Bolga Road to the new terminal building. In addition, we have a multi-purpose terminal building with the state-of-the-art equipment used for hard operations at the moment. And in addition, we have a bulk utility supply area, which is the technical area where all services such as electricity, water, wastewater treatment for the airport is managed from. All these 4 separate projects cost a total of $70 million. This compares to the $130 million of phase 1 for those 3 elements of that project.
The Minister for Transport, Kweku Fori Asiama, said government's policy is geared towards establishing airports in all regional capitals, adding that feasibility studies have been completed for one to be sited either in the western or central region.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you may all be aware, government policy is geared towards development of airports in all regional capitals. It is within this framework that over the past couple of years, the aviation sector has witnessed significant development in infrastructure development and service expansion coupled with the implementation of government liberal skies policy. It is in line with this policy that the International Airport Phase 2 and 3, which commenced in 2018, is about 35% complete, while the rehabilitation of the Sinyoni Airport has been completed and open for commercial operations. We are also pursuing the development of a new airport in either the western or central region or in between the 2 regions, for which the feasibility studies have been completed.
The British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, said the project has the potential to open up the North's economical world to the rest of the world.
The thing that I love about this project is the potential that it brings to open up the North, to open up tourism to this wonderfully rich region, to open up agriculture, not just the production but the processing, and to get that processed food out across the world. So it's a wonderful day. I'm glad to be here. I'm proud of the partnership between UK and Ghana, between the private sector and government that has resulted in this wonderful airport, this wonderful facility now being available. I'm excited to see how it's going to get things moving in the whole of the northern regions of Ghana.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Al-Hassan Shaibu, on his part, commended the Vice President for his role in the initiation of the project and many other projects in the North.
For the instrumentality and role he played in the initiation of this landmark project and its execution up to completion. Aside of the well-known significant national projects and programs His Excellency has been involved in the Northern region, the Northern region will forever be grateful to him for his immense role in such high-profile projects such as the Tamale Interchange, the Tamale Road, the worldwide Tamale dualization, which is of course, this edifice that we are inaugurating today.
Now, on your election headquarters today, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is touting his dedication and allegiance to the NPP, positioning himself as the suitable choice to lead the party. He pledges to carve a distinct path towards economic prosperity if chosen as the NPP's leader. With the party's super delegate congress just 3 days away, Samuel Mbura from our political desk shed light on his candidacy.
Is an economist with experience at the central bank. He transitioned into politics and was the first to introduce a data-driven narrative in Ghana's political landscape, gaining trust among Ghanaians. His prominence peaked during the 2012 election petition.
Let us put down my analysis and show me one repeated polling station in my analysis. If you are afraid of the truth, then of course you will hide behind these exhibit numbers.
His father, Mumuni Bawumia, co-founded the Northern People's Party, with SD Dombo contributing to the birth of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, sparking arguments for the Dombo faction to lead the NPP, given the historical representation of Dankwa and Buzia.
They will be in trouble. They know we will break the gates. They know John Mahama cannot take me on in the north. I will beat him in the north. I will beat him in the north. They know it.
However, some contend that politics transcends tribal lines and prioritizes competence. His role in reducing the NPP's parliamentary deficit from over 80% to under 60% in the northern regions since 2008 is highlighted, making him a strong contender against NDC's John Mahama after the 2020 elections. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's candidacy garners extensive nationwide endorsements from both within and outside the NPP. Notably, Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Dan Botry, is among NPP stalwarts supporting him.
Based on my knowledge and experiences in the party, I have come to conclude that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the right person who holds the future of this party. So please, I will urge all of you to come out together to vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is passionately underlining his dedication to the NPP, emphasizing he has never abandoned his responsibility.
I have sacrificed for the party. I have defended the party in good times and in challenging times. I have never wavered or slacked. Never.
He therefore assures that if elected, he will lead the country towards economic prosperity.
Together with you, I want to see a Ghana with an education system tilted towards STEM, robotics, artificial intelligence, digital and vocational skills to cope with the demands of the fourth industrial revolution.
Though several surveys predict a landslide victory for him, the Superdelegates Congress will be the litmus paper to test how strong his signal is to lead the NPP. For JoyNews, Samuel Mbura.
Meanwhile, royals from the four recognized gates of the Wala traditional area have thrown their weight behind flag bearer hopeful and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, urging the delegates to vote massively for him in Saturday's Super Delegate Conference. According to them, among the 10 aspirants, Dr. Bawumia stands tall among all, and given the opportunity, he will be the one to transform the country's economy.
The press conference, which was held at Niriyangpong, a place reserved for the selection of a new overlord of the Wala traditional area, was attended by Nabihi or royals from all the four recognized gates in the Wala traditional area that are heirs to the Wala throne. According to the Wala royals, among the 10 competent, fine and respected gentlemen that have expressed their intention to put themselves before the special delegates of the New Patriotic Party NPP is one of their own and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Governor Jamaldeen Adam Akpala read a statement on their behalf.
After a deep reflection and critical scrutiny of the aspirants, we have come to a firm conclusion that His Excellency Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia is the man of the moment with the requisite qualification, experience, competence, appeals to the voters, temperament, vision, strategy to consolidate the gains made so far by the government of President Akufo-Addo. in its march to transform the structure of the economy and accelerate the socio-economic development in today's technological and digitalized global setting.
Now, she is determined to make a strong case for Ghana at the global stage in the climate change research and discussions. Professor Nana Ama Brown-Cloche, head of the physics department at the University of Ghana, is the first Ghanaian to be elected as vice chair of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. Now, for Climate Focus, Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin finds out what her appointment signifies for the weather and climate change issues in Ghana.
I have worked with the IPCC in various capacities since 2017, and I worked first as a lead author and also a member of the data task force on data on behalf of Africa. I was the only African in there anyway. And I have also worked contributing to other chapters of the IPCC report.
Her working Group 1 for the 7th assessment of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change investigates the physical science foundations of the past, current, and future climate change.
So, Prof, I would like you to update us.
Professor Nana Ama Brown-Cloche and her physics students are overjoyed at her election.
It's already 9 days in office. Yes. How has the experience been?
I was particularly excited when I heard about her position, her elected into the IPCC Bureau. That is big for Ghana and big for University of Ghana as well.
My name is Dr. Joseph Asari. I know that she has a lot of plans. She has some visions that I believe will bring a lot of progress to.
Though this may sound exciting to students, Professor Cloche says the implications of climate change in Ghana and Africa are what she would present to the IPCC.
Yeah, so obviously being at that level, at the IPCC Bureau, I carry the interest of Ghana and also the interest of Africa into the Bureau. I will be in a position together with my team of Bureau members to decide on the various special reports we need to do our research on, in the world, and also the main report, the 7th assessment report as well.
Coastal erosion, wildfires, among other issues, will be tackled by Professor Cloche as vice chair.
We know we have so many climate change challenges in Ghana and of course Africa. Ghana specifically, we know obviously we have the coastal erosion that is eating up our land resources. We know also of wildfires that is disturbing our forests. We know about drought that is also affecting our food security. Even rainfall that is not, it's always variable or erratic, is also affecting farmers' livelihood and also food security. There are so many other implications of climate change that is affecting us in Ghana. I will have all of that in mind when we are taking decisions at the Bureau, and also of course consider other countries in Africa as well at the Bureau level.
She would also look at the report to see if it is inclusive, comprehensive, and focuses on climate change research.
In my specific capacity as the vice chair, I'll be looking at the report if it is reflective of inclusivity, if it is comprehensive, if it focuses on the science of climate change. So we'll have lead authors that will work under me, and I have to make sure that their report is in the right position or direction as required, the quality as required at the United Nations level.
Professor Cloche was the only Ghanaian lead author in the working Group 1, and she contributed to the Atlas Chapters Africa part as well as other chapters pertaining to Africa. She received her PhD in climatology from the University of Cape Town in South Africa, and her research focuses on climate modeling and impacts.
And now
Professor Cloche of the University of Ghana's Department of Physics has been monitoring several students involved in climate research.
So this is one of our labs. This is what I teach at the first year level, electricity and magnetism. So these are experimental setup we use to demonstrate the concept that we teach in class to the students, so they have a practical experience of the concept as well. So basically, this is the first year and second year lab where we do this kind of demonstration. So electricity and magnetism mostly in the second semester. In the first semester we teach mechanics, and that's why we get heat and thermal physics as well. Said there's nothing much to say really. That you did very well. Thanks for your support. I think the school is very happy with your assistance, and I would say you should keep it up. Yes, you can clap for yourself. You can clap for yourself. I mean, going forward, we'll be doing a lot more of this. The university is trying to do a lot more digital spaces. So we'll be needing your expertise as well going forward. So just to say thank you. All right. And please train others.
The 7th IPCC assessment report has just started and will last 5 to 7 years, allowing the 7th assessment report to feed into the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change Global Stocktake in 2028. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Up next is business with Pius Kojobaka.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojobaka. To our very first story, the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Esla Wusu-Ekufo, has indicated that government has approved the establishment of a neutral shared infrastructure company to deliver nationwide 4G and 5G services. According to her, this move is to help service providers extend their services to the rural areas and help government achieve its digitalization agenda. She was speaking at the 12th edition of the African Peering and Interconnection Forum hosted by One.
As demand for digital services in Africa increases, businesses are forced to create new sources of value and effectively scaling their digital infrastructure. The African Peering and Interconnection Forum, hosted by Main One, focused on trends emerging in the industry. In an interview, Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, said government will provide the infrastructure for service providers to extend 4G networks to 80% of Ghana's population.
We've just been granted approval to have a neutral shared infrastructure along these same lines. But government will be working with the network operators and private investors to set up a 4G network and 5G network as well on this shared infrastructure. So that all operators can use it. So it's open shared infrastructure, and it will extend 4G connectivity to about 80% of the population. We currently have just about 50% 4G coverage. So it means that existing network operators can utilize this network to extend their services. New operators can also utilize this network to develop to deliver their services in country. And we're hoping that by that we speed up the adoption of high-speed broadband internet services across the country.
Country Manager of Main One, Emmanuel Kwating, added that the forum is aimed at harnessing the power of the internet and driving innovation for economic development.
We cannot overemphasize the critical role that peering plays in enhancing the reach, reliability, and efficiency of this digital lifestyle. As we come together from various parts of the world for this peering forum, we are united with a common purpose to harnessing the power of the internet and content to drive innovation, empower communities, and of course, and economic development.
Internet service providers were urged to collaborate and address gaps in efforts being made to promote internet traffic locally.
40,000 entities and individuals in agro-processing and cosmetics have benefited from the West Africa Competitiveness Program by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. There is more in this report.
The West Africa Competitiveness Program, WACOMB, was initiated to scale up agro-processing firms to enhance quality of their products as well as gain access to international markets. Speaking to journalists at the second Ghana International Cluster Conference, which forms part of initiatives to showcase innovations in the cosmetics, fruits and cassava value chain, project manager Ebe Mushiali hinted that majority of the support has gone into quality standards for products that are manufactured from these beneficiaries.
Companies are working together, they are partnering with technical institutions, with universities, and they develop products, they become more competitive. A big chunk of the work has gone into standards and enhancing quality and making the SMEs compliant to what the market is requiring. So thanks to this, now the companies, we have assisted more than 43,000 companies throughout the country, and thanks to this now they can have products that are conform to the market, to what the market requires, and they are now selling in some countries in Africa, in East Africa, in South Africa, but some of them are also accessing the European Union market, which is a top-end market, especially for cosmetics.
Chief Technical Advisor for the West Africa Competitiveness Program, Dr. Charles Kwame Saki, explains the scope of work and how it benefited Ghanaian small and medium enterprises.
And that's your business for now. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Dara will be here at 1 p.m. with the Marketplace. Sports is next.
Muftau Nabila Abdullah here with sports on JoyNews today. Ghana's 200 meters athletes James Daze and Joseph Paul Amwa missed out on the semi-finals of the ongoing World Athletics Championships. James Daze pulled out of the race with what looked like a muscle tear, while Paul Amwa finished fifth and hit sixth with 20.56 seconds. Paul attributed his low finish to a toe injury he suffered in the last 30 minutes.
I think it was a well-executed race. My coach always told me to execute the turn, but I did it this time, and then about 20-30 minutes into the straight, I felt my toe pop. So I don't know. I just tried to get through the line and see if I could get top three, but two other guys came past me, so I got fifth.
Yeah, because I was looking at the heat map, and clearly, like towards the last 30 meters, you slowed down dramatically. Was that because of the injury?
Yeah, the toe. Because I heard it pop about 20 meters into the straight. So I was just trying to get through the line and see what I'll run. Like I always say, I try to do it like round by round. Not coming out here to target the final straight, but I like to go to the semis before the finals. So this was the first step, but this didn't allow me. I hope it can actually heal before the relay. If it doesn't, I'll just shut it down.
And yesterday I spoke to you, you spoke about this injury in particular, but you said you were kind of managing it. I mean, how long have you had this injury?
About 6 weeks. Yeah, I had it before I ran my last 100 of the season. It was a low meet, like 10-13. That was actually my season best. So I had it, but I was just trying to manage it and ice or whatever I could do. Since I came here, they'd be using the laser on it and stuff like that. So I was hoping that today it was going to behave itself. I actually felt good in the warm-up, so I don't know why it popped in the race. All glory to God.
This is your third World Championships, obviously, Doha, Oregon, and here. And you know, you couldn't make it out into the next round in all of those competitions. I mean, when you look back at your journey into this point, how would you sum up what has happened here today?
I think always I feel like I could make it. I feel like I'm a top athlete just like these guys, but there's always something when I get here. it's either some injury or mishap. I could have a very good season and then all of a sudden when I show up at Worlds, some nagging injuries just show up. But I'm a competitor. I always try to like put myself together and still compete, represent the country in whatever situation it is.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports choice on myjoyonline.com. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today now, US-based Ghanaian gospel singer Sarah Sings has announced a debut concert and album release dates. According to the Good God hitmaker, the concert cover will feature some of the country's best musicians performing on the night.
For you to experience Kava 2020. It's particularly exciting for me because it is the day that I get to launch my debut album. It is also going to be my debut concert. It is a power-packed day, and I want to especially invite you to come, bring your friends, bring your family members, and it is going to be an amazing time in the presence of God. And I'm blessed and privileged to have great ministers that have, joined me to embark on this encounter. And we've been praying, we continue to pray, and we pray for you that you'll be able to come. My brother, Pastor Denzel, is going to be there, an amazing brother of mine. My sister, Celestine Donko, is coming all the way from Ghana. It's going to be an awesome and powerful time in the presence of God. Minister Tommy Faven will also be there. Powerful woman of God. You don't want to miss it. You want to experience her ministrations. We have Reverend Graceman, we have Pastor Allen, and Millicent Yankee, my own sister, will also be ministering as well. And guess what? On top of that all, the Holy Spirit will be ministering to you. He's waiting to have an encounter with you. I invite you. Again, it's September 23rd, 2023 at 4 p.m. Eastern at Life Chapel International, Newcastle, Delaware. Invite a friend. I hope to see you. Come, let's come out.
Away from Sarah, today we put the spotlight on Papa, a Los Angeles-based rapper who is tapping into the Afrobeat music genre. He tells JoyNews his music is inspired by life experiences, and his new song, titled This Life Is Not an Exception.
Dope tape. I've been doing music for about 11 years, hip-hop, Spanish, now you feel me, Afrobeats. I've been in about 12 to 14 countries. So my music is based off my vibes and my life experiences and just being out doing the world. So make sure y'all tap in, check me out. I appreciate y'all. I just shot this new video, so I had to come to Ghana for the real feeling of the African world and just really tap in. So that's why I flew out there. I'm the first artist from California to switch over to the Afrobeat. That haven't been done yet. And I'm the first artist independently to go from Los Angeles to Africa and shoot a video. It haven't been done. It's your boy Paper. I got a new single out called Like This, Paper, featuring MK Mobster. Like This, out on all platforms. I just posted the video. It's dope. I came to Ghana. I shot in Accra and I went to Cape Coast. It was dope. A nice experience. I enjoyed the whole culture. Check that out too as well.
She on Fire Spirit, book a Frontier flight.
I'm a big fan of Afrobeats. And my favorite artist is Burna Boy. You know, I'm a big fan, so I tapped in with a Lagos artist named MK Mobster. I tapped in with a master, Kennedy, and I tapped in with an artist from Congo named Artist BM. And we made a dope tape, you know, I put them on the album. It's a great look. Come close, baby, check out body.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Good to see you, Carlos.
Good to see you, Becky. Nice one. So for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com.